Sports Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max, Light 365, iHeartRadio. We have the one and only Kari Faux, all the way out of Arkansas, Little Rock, joining me here on the show here today. Welcome to the show. How's your day going?
Great. It's going great. It's a little rainy right now, but I'm glad to be here. So
Mhm.
thanks.
Little Rock, Arkansas is where you're from. You represent there. Are you currently there now? Because I know you relocated to LA. You've also been out in Atlanta. So where are you currently now? Are you back in Arkansas?
Yeah, I'm back in Arkansas right now.
How's it feel to be back? Are you champion once you go back? Because after your time in LA, I heard you did go back home and you're back home now. So do you feel as though you're finally getting that recognition? You're able to bring resources back there to put the spotlight back on Arkansas?
Well, the thing is, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm like champion because when I come home, people don't know. I'm
Oh,
like very, I'm like very tucked off. But I mean, I feel like I'm like now starting to get in a position where I can bring more of a spotlight, and there are people that like very much champion me. Like they always keep my name in the conversation of people who are in the Arkansas scene or who are coming out of Arkansas. So I'm always grateful that people like, give me my flowers.
mhm. I have a curious question for you because growing up, you were watching Missy Elliott, Destiny's Child on the TV. You're always watching TV when you're younger. How do you think you could establish that same organic feeling as those artists back in the day? Because now we're in the social media age. There's hundreds of artists everywhere. We don't know who's true. Because something that you always preach about is that you feel as though there's a lot of artists out there now that are honest in their music, but you also have others that aren't as honest, and you're one of those artists that are honest. So, how do you feel as though you could bring that organic feeling to the social media age, like a Missy Elliott?
I think it's just like staying true to who I am and not necessarily like falling for like the I don't know. There's like this sexiness to be the most talked about person on the internet like now. And for me that I don't think that that's not really my thing. I'm not like now I really don't be on like Instagram and Twitter as much as I used to. Um because I don't know, I'm just more focused on like making things that feel good like outside of the algorithm, and so it's like I feel like if I give everything that I have when I'm like living my life outside of the loop and outside of the algorithm, whatever I put into it, it's easily going to find the people that it's supposed to find. And so yeah, it's just really about like not giving too much to like what's happening on the internet, and like not feeling like okay, or break into the pressure of like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta post this because this is happening. If I don't post this, then people won't care. And like that's just not true. Like, if you're not fighting to be viral, then people will always care about what you're doing if you're really trying to find like your people that support you. So
Do you feel as though that social media will eventually become secondary in a way? Because you do see big artists right now like Billie Eilish, I think Selena Gomez, they're removing themselves from social media. And I'm someone that agrees with that because I think social media is very toxic. There's a lot of fake numbers on there. Just there's so many things that I go against social media. And you yourself just mentioned that you really don't like social media, especially with the algorithm. So you do ever see it becoming secondary eventually once you see these artists such as yourself and Billie Eilish saying that I don't need this and I can't deal with it.
yeah, I do. I mean, I do see it becoming secondary. I mean, even people who aren't artists are starting to be like, man, this is draining. Like being like seeing, like people being super wealthy and having all this money, and it's like I can't even afford to pay my bills, or I can't, you know what I mean? Like that in and of itself is just becoming tiresome, and like just feeling like you gotta do all these things and to try to catch up to what you're seeing every day, but that thing that you're seeing, the images that you're seeing projected are just not real. Like that's not like everybody's not living like that. And so I do feel like it's about to take a turn, and like people are just gonna want to like see things that are closer to what they live every single day. So um, I mean, social media is like don't get it twisted. Like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the internet. Like
Yeah.
a lot of us wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the internet. A lot of us didn't have opportunities, and because the internet allowed us a channel to be able to say what we want to say no matter where we were coming from. I think that's special, and I don't take that for granted. But I think that like there's always another side, a dark side to something, and yeah, it's that need to feel like you got to keep up, you got to you gotta like feed the beast basically. But yeah, it's I mean, it has its good. I'll be on Twitter and I'll be laughing and stuff. I'll be on Instagram laughing and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, you gotta keep a healthy balance. So
Exactly. It can get to a lot of people. Just post it when you really need it. Like J. Cole and Kendrick, they go on once in a great while and post, and you see how their careers thrive. And they take the same approach with their albums. They'll drop one when they feel like it.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And I mean it's and I feel like because I mean there'll be some people that say like, well, of course they can do that because they're already famous, they're already this and that. But I do feel like there is a way of like, promoting yourself actively as an artist and not feeling like you have to like, just like do the most essentially like if you don't post you'll be irrelevant or you'll lose followers. Like be okay with losing followers. Like I lose followers all the time. I feel
Yeah,
like
I don't care.
I be going like months without posting. I'm like, I don't care if y'all don't, because the thing is as soon as I start posting again, people are gonna come right back. So it's like, just be okay with that. Like not letting the internet really dictate, your life. So
Exactly. You can't do that. I think Instagram actually you can't use the unfollow apps anymore. I think there's something wrong like with the second party apps. They disabled them, like they'll lock your account. So a lot of people are getting locked out of their accounts trying to get into the unfollowgram account. So
I didn't even know that. I didn't even
yeah, it's
know.
crazy. Unbelievable. But I want to get into your history here because you have an interesting history. Just learned about your life story. We'll get into that. But as far as your hip hop career goes, I want to take it back to the age of 16 when I think it was a group of friends that you had used to record in the closet and you went home and wrote over a Jay-Z song Cry. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote over Jay-Z song. Well, so I used to hang out with so there was this girl that was in my class. Her name was Celeste. Like me and her were super cool, and her brother was like a rapper. And so he like would record people at his house, well, at their house. They live with their parents.
Mhm.
And so I had went over there. I was like, oh, I can rap, whatever. And so I went over there with my friend Jasmine. And he was like, okay, like it was him and this other guy that was over there, and they were like, all right, go home and like write a 16. And before that, I had just only wrote poetry. Like I used to just write poetry and like write short stories and stuff like that. Just because that's what I like to do. And so they were like, yeah, you should write a 16 and come back and record it. And I was like, I don't even know. I didn't even know what a 16 was. I was like, what's 16? They were like, write 16 bars. I was like, what is 16 bars? They was like, and so they showed me how to count bars. And I was like, oh, okay, like this is like the scheme, whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. So then I went home and I had chose that beat and I wrote it or whatever. And my friend also wrote a verse too. So she's on the song too. And then we went back and we like recorded it at their house. And I was like, damn, this is fire. And I remember just like putting it on Facebook or something. And then my friends like, oh, I fuck with that song. And so then that was my first time being like, oh, this is like how you make music. And then from there it just kind of grew from like Facebook to MySpace to then Twitter. And I had kind of quit making music when I turned 18 and I went away to college. But then I started back up again like after like when I was like 19. So
Yeah, I heard about your life story, just everything. We could touch on that because actually, in relating to your biological father, Paul Jones, he
mhm.
was a rapper. Yeah, he was a big rapper out in Arkansas, and to this day, because I heard that he does send you messages on Facebook and support you. But is there time that someone else has either told you or he himself that they can hear your father in your music at all?
Uh no, I mean when I found out I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Like nobody's ever told me that. And I don't really like talk to him like that. Well, I don't really talk to him at all. But I like just knowing from that, like knowing that song as a kid, like the like crushing, that was like a huge song when I was a kid. And this was before I even knew he was my father. And so when my biological mom had told me who my dad was, I was like, what? Like that's crazy because that one song that he had, I'm like, we used to sing that song all the time. And so it made sense that like the way that I like rap is very reminiscent of the way that he raps. It's like it's very like it's very slow. I mean, to me, like
Mhm.
compared to how people be rapping fast, it's very slow. It's very like, you just getting your shit off, you just popping your shit. And so it just made sense. I was like, oh, okay, like cool.
You were, I think, was it you were 19 when you found out that you were adopted?
No, no, no. I've known that I was adopted like pretty much my whole life.
Wow. Okay.
I had just I just found well, actually a family friend um had went to church with my like biological grandma.
Mhm.
And so I guess like my like biological brother, me and him we look just alike. And so I think my family friend was just like, hey, like she called my mom and was like, hey, I think I know who Kay's parents are, or like I know who her family is because I think they go to my church.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, who, whatever. And so then she showed my mom whatever, and my mom had told me, she was like, hey, I got something to tell you. I think we know who your biological family is. And so then when she showed me, my brother was the first person I talked to. And when I saw him, I was like, oh yeah, that's my brother. And so um then after that, I met my mom. Then my mom told me who my dad was, and then yeah, it just went from there.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I pretty much know my whole life that I was adopted.
Is there a point of comfort that you were able to reach knowing that, like, because you known your whole life, but just to able to come to terms with it is, and it is what it is? Was there ever a period in your life that you were going through, like, man, I'm adopted?
Yeah, no, for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, most of my childhood, for sure. I had pretty much, I was pretty much kind of over it. Like by the time I had found out who they were, I was
Mhm.
kind of already over it.
Okay.
I had already like accepted it for what it was, like, cause I used to be when I was a kid, I used to be thinking like, oh, Mary J. Blige, my mama. Like I used to be saying all like I used to be thinking the wildest stuff, like, oh, my mom is, I don't know, somebody super famous, whatever. And then by the time I had like realized that I was like 18, and I was like, all right, whatever, it is what it is, life is what it is. And then that's when I found them and I was like, oh shit. And then it became this whole thing of like, okay, like, getting to know them and their story. But now the point that I'm at now, I'm really close to my biological brother. I talk to my mom through my brother, and then my dad. I don't really have anything to say to him. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Like we're
Yeah.
fine.
But I did read online that your parents that adopted you, your adopted parents, your father works for a Skippy Peanut Butter Factory. That's right, and
Mhm.
your mother's a minister.
Yeah, she used to work at Blue Cross Blue Shield, and she sells Tupperware, and she also is like a chaplain, like an ordained like minister.
Okay,
So
yeah.
she has a lot of hustles.
I think you brought her out to a Mick Jenkins concert, right?
I
Yeah.
did, yeah. And it was funny because that was like the first real show she had ever been to because
Hmm.
she very like, I can't be seen in a place that be playing that kind of music, whatever. And so she decided to come. She drove down to Dallas with my dad, and then she saw the show, and she was just like blown away. She's like, "Oh my gosh! Like all these people came, they know the words to the song, and they want your autograph. They buying T-shirts and all this other stuff." And I mean, she wasn't like super supportive of me doing music per se. Like it, she was more so just like, "I want you to have a job." And so she didn't understand what I was doing. She would just be like, oh, you up in your room all day playing loud music. I don't know what you're doing. You need to get a job. And so I think that was the first time she realized, like, oh, this is her job. Like, and so, yes, ever since then, she's just like, oh, like, she apologized to me. Like, I'm sorry I didn't support you in the ways you need to be supported, but like, I'm just glad you didn't give up on your dream. And like, I'm glad I got to see it. So, yeah, that was a fun night. That was a fun night.
That's amazing just to hear that she is supportive of your dream and what you're doing right now. But the whole school thing, because I do relate to the whole F a job. I heard you went through that phase at 19 saying that. What was the job that you realized that, yeah, this isn't it for me? I'm pursuing music.
Um, here's the thing. I'll tell you this. I used to get jobs to do music. So I would get a job. I would work the job for like 2 weeks, get a crazy check, and then I would like quit the job. And then I would take the check and I would like invest it in my music. And then when that money ran out, I would get another job and I would work there for however long, and then I would get the check, and then I would quit the job and invest it in music. So there wasn't necessarily a particular job where I was like, "Oh, I'm not doing this no more." It was just at a certain. It just got to a point where it's like, okay, you can now fully go off and do what you want to do and not have to work a job. But I was like never really opposed to like working if I could get the money to support what I was trying to do, you know? I was never gonna let nothing get in the way of what I wanted.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it was basically a side hustle just to support what you really wanted to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I was never gonna invest more time in a job than I was into my dreams, like ever.
Yeah.
I never felt the pressure to do that. I'm just like, and it's crazy. It's very audacious of me to be like, I don't care. I'll be all right. I'll be fine. I'm gonna figure it out. But I did ultimately, and so yeah, I've like worked retail. I worked at Chick-fil-A, worked at I've been a hostess at a few restaurants. I worked at Dollar General. So I just be doing what I gotta do.
Yeah, I had my share of the mill of doing retail, and I rage quit and never looked back ever again because those jobs they become so demanding and they try to take over your life. They try to take control. They take
Yeah.
advantage. It's all part of the system. I'm very rage against the machine. It's all part of the system. They try
Yeah,
to
and
trap you in.
it's to kinda, like, drain all of your energy, and then when you go home, you don't wanna do anything.
No.
Like, you don't wanna do anything, so I was just like, "I'm gonna focus on this job for however long, Imma get this money, and then I'm gonna quit, 'cause so then I don't have to worry about it anymore." So, yeah,
From
it
there, after high school, you go out to Atlanta, the Art Institute of Atlanta, and you learn about engineering. But I heard that you didn't have the best of times out there. You really didn't like the experience, from what I read online.
not at school, not at
Yeah,
school.
not at school.
I loved, no, so I went to high school here
Yeah,
in Little Rock, and then when I graduated, I, signed up for Art Institute, and, like, the school as far as, like, the people that I met, it was fire, it was great, the city was great, it was at the time, like, you have to understand, like, this is the time, like, Future is coming up, like, Gucci Mane is like a super mega big deal. You just have like the Migos, like Trinidad James, off a record. Like literally, that was like the golden
yeah,
time, like blog era rap. Um, and so like I didn't really care for like the school part because the school was I don't know I don't really feel like you would like learn with I don't know it just felt like this is whatever, And so I just kind of spent my time like hanging out and like meeting people and stuff, which ultimately when I left school, I just ended up staying in Atlanta. And I just like, was just on the scene and like making friends and met just a lot of cool people. So the city of Atlanta was great. The Art Institute was
yeah. A scam. I've read in the quote. Yeah.
yeah, big scam energy.
Yeah. But from there, talk to me how you got to LA because I know that LA wasn't somewhere you thought that you were going to be or you ever wanted to be, but apparently you had a dream about LA. Then a month later, you were out there. So talk to me about how this transition happened and what this dream was about. I'm curious to hear.
I don't think it was necessarily about anything. It was just I was living in LA and I had never had any desire to live in LA. So if anything, I would have lived in New York if, first. If an opportunity would have opened up then. But yeah, I had a dream. I was living in LA and then I had told my like collaborator at the time, I was like, hey, like I had this dream, we live in LA, whatever. And so then that's when like I feel like a month later, that's when the Gambino thing happened.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, like, like come out to LA, like, work with us, like just be around so you can be in the industry and like see what this stuff is about." And so yeah, it just happened that way. And I was like,
Malik invited you out, right?
no, so they reached out to Malik on behalf of Donald,
Okay.
mm, to remix No Small Talk.
Mm.
And so so Chad and Fam, who managed Donald, asked me and Malik to come out there. Yeah.
That's how that connection went down. With you going out there, everyone always says this: you can't trust the people out in LA. I know you come from a place that you can't trust these industry people. So, how did you learn to trust people moving in the industry? What are the signs that you can trust someone? Because I don't care where it is, you have to move with that mentality. You can't trust anyone. You can't just go in thinking that it's just LA. Because if you go to New York, they'll burn you there too. Trust me. So,
Yeah.
what was it that you kind of had to learn that, which it was you were okay with trusting people?
It's just like where understanding what um what the relationship is, like where the person is, right? So if you go into every situation being like, oh, this is my friend, but this person is just like, oh, we're working. Like it's like when you take those things personally, when you take work things personally, you're gonna always feel like you can't like trust somebody, or you can't work with somebody, or you can't do certain things because you're putting a certain level of like you're just giving too much to people, you know? And so you have to understand how to compartmentalize and like separate your relationships and be like, oh, this is my friend. Like these are my friends that I actually, you know, have heart to hearts with, and I can tell them shit and I can and be real with them. And then these are the people that I work with. And so when it's work related, this is what we're doing. We can like be cordial and be nice and laugh and da da da, but it's work, you know, and I can't feel no type of way when these people just want to work. And then there's people that, you know, like you see out and about and you may party with, you may see them, you know what I mean? But you're not gonna, you may not work with them and you may not have heart to hearts with them, but there's nothing wrong with just like going out with them and like seeing them out and, you know, having a drink or whatever. So it's just about like learning where to put people. And I think that's something that I mean, I'm still to this day, you know, figuring out how to do that properly.
Hmm.
But but now it's not necessarily about just like trust no one. It's just like trust yourself to know that like if something feels off with somebody, just let that be what it is. Like you don't have to force a relationship, you don't have to force a working relationship, you don't have to force a friendship, you know? So it's like if somebody is not fucking with you or you feel weird about the situation, just let it be what it is. And don't force it, because then if you force it, then that ends up being this thing where you end up getting burned in the end, you know? So I just trust my instincts now. It's
Hmm.
like
You have to.
those tiny bells be going off in the beginning and then they turn into fire alarms when you don't listen the first time. So
And you think back, man, I should have really went with my gut instinct on this guy.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
not even. Like to be honest, I don't have no regrets. I'm just be real. Like
Mhm.
everything happened the way that it was supposed to. That's genuinely what I believe, because I think that if any other thing would have happened differently, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I'm very, 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 very happy with like who I am as a person and as an artist today. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's like if I be like, oh, if I should have avoided that. No, that person that did whatever that made me feel whatever type of way, whether they were right or wrong or whatever, that wouldn't have made me be the way that I am now. And so I don't look at it as like, oh, I mean, I took an L. Like, no, I just learned a lesson that I clearly needed to learn, and I wasn't gonna learn it until I experienced it. Because to me, experience is the best teacher. So yeah, I just be like, all right, it is what it is. I take my lesson and I keep it moving.
You keep it moving. But I want to talk about New York because you mentioned New York before, if there's an opening that came up. But how did it feel to have the people out there cheering for your name, Kari Faux, out at SOBs?
Oh yeah, no, that was fun. That was very fun. Um, I don't know. New York has always just shown me so much love, like from like the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
I was very surprised because I didn't really know what to expect when I went there the first time. You know, you just hear stuff about like people in New York are rude and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I don't know, I like New York people. I mean, it's kind of like you like you get what you see. Like, you know, it's like they're very like upfront and like blunt and like a little bit rude, and I like that. I like it because I'm the same way. It's like move, like get out the way, like move. So yeah, I love New York. New York loves me. We will always have a special relationship. So yeah.
On the music scale, why do you think on the music scale that it's something about you that attracts to the New York sound? Because New York, they always care about their lyricists. They're to the root of hip hop. So what is it? Because you have that neo soul edge to you. So what is it you think that New York vibes with you?
I don't know. I think it's just because I'm like not conventional.
Mm,
I'm not very conventional with like my music or just as a person. And I think that that's also New York. Like I don't know, it's just a very like it's like a very like it's a beautiful like chaotic energy that's happening in New York, and I feel like I can identify with that beautiful chaoticness of it. And so yeah, I mean, and then also I mean, I be rapping.
yeah,
I be rapping like
exactly.
niggas know I be rapping, so it's cool. Like
The bars, you know, you could tell that. But I mean, you've been able to accomplish so much even with Laugh Now, Die Later. Big It had a big impact on your career early on, especially being named one of the most overlooked mixtapes that year on Pitchfork.
yeah, which I didn't even know it was on that list until like 2 years later. Isn't that crazy? I did not know that. Somebody told me. They was like, "Oh yeah, I love that man that later." I saw it on I actually caught it on Pitchfork's list of like some mixtapes. I'm like, wait, Pitchfork posted me, and it was like, yeah. And I went back. My just is 2016. I went and looked it up, and I saw it, and I was like, yo, I didn't even know. I didn't even know. So shout out to Pitchfork. They be fucking with me.
No, it's crazy even learn that 2 years later that you found that out. But it just shows that the people are watching no matter what. And I'd rather be an underrated artist than an overrated artist at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I don't really get into like the oh they sleeping on me, they this and they that. It's like people that fuck with me have been fucking with me, and I've been fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like it's like oh I'm like this struggling artist. It's like no, I have my core audience, and my core audience is smart. They're fun, and so I get to grow and I get to evolve, and they allow me the space to do that. And I couldn't be more appreciative to have an audience like that. They're not like they don't want me to stay the same. They like the fact that I can give them so many different styles of music in even one project. And so I'm just, there's like, some people feel like, keep it the same, keep it the same. We don't like it when you do this. Like, oh, you're changing too much. Oh, and it's like my audience they don't be on that with me, and I'm so glad. I'm so
You also have, I've learned that you were able to get Amanda to play violin for you on your song. So tell me about your relationship with Steve Lacy and how huge he's been. I mean, with Bad Habit and everything going on this year, Grammy, right? Contemporary album, he won Grammy for that award, that album. Crazy.
Oh, Steve is going crazy right now. I haven't talked to him in a while. He's famous. He's super famous. So I couldn't tell you what he's been doing, but his last album was really good. It was
Yeah.
really, really good. So I'm very happy for his success.
Yeah, no, I could see you two linking. I would love to see you two do some work in the future because he's also part of that, like that urban contemporary. He's out of the box because people call him this generation's Prince, which people have been saying online.
Yeah. And even
He's
just like the internet as a whole, like even Sid, like I love to see that, like she's writing for Beyonce, and that like Patrick Page, the bass player, he's also like I think him and Sid both wrote on Beyonce's album. So it's just really cool to see my peers like doing really cool things, and just seeing where we were a few years ago, we were just all kicking in Sid's house, and like everybody's just doing great things. So I'm like, okay, like, it's really cool. It's like when you're in high school or in your middle school, and you're hanging out with your friends, and you grow up and you see all like the jobs they have now, and it's like, damn, you work at, oh, you work at, oh, you work at, and so I don't know. It's just a beautiful thing to see everybody like grow, change, and evolve, and like ultimately end up in the places that they've always, wanted to be. So,
What was the most important thing that you learned from Matt Martians?
to not like be stuck on like song structures and also like harmonizing. He's like a huge harmonizer. He likes to like at the times where I worked with him, he just like was layered things so many times and then pitched things up, pitched things down, and that was just something I was like, oh, I would have never thought to do that. And so that's definitely something I remember with him. And also just, just being not being confined to a song structure.
HBO's Insecure, no small talk. You got your music in that. Tell me about the process and find out that you were going to be featured in the soundtrack for the show.
So Issa Rae had just hit me up. I think she hit me up on like Twitter or Instagram, something like that. She just hit me up and was like, "Hey, like we've been playing the album in the office. Like we love it. We want to, feature some of your songs on the show." And I was like, "What the fuck?" And so yeah, she just like invited me up to the office to see where they were working and stuff. And yeah, that was pretty much it. It was a pretty easy process. And then at some point, the music supervisor, Kier, he brought me in to like do an original song for one of the scenes, where they're just like driving down the freeway or whatever. And so that was really fun because it kind of felt like a writing prompt, like when you're taking a test and it's like this tell me about da da da. And
Mhm.
so it felt like, okay, if I watched the scene and I just basically write a song about what's happening in the scene. It was very fun. It's very fun.
Did you get to meet with any of the casting directors on the show at all? Because I know acting's something that you would love to take on in the future, take on a role, learn the mannerisms. Were you able to meet with any of the casting directors, make any connections?
No, I didn't meet any casting directors for Insecure, but I was like doing auditions. Like at a booking agency that I used to be at, I had a talent agent, and so
Hmm.
she would send me on auditions. She would send me like scripts and stuff. And for me, it really wasn't about like booking anything as much as it was about getting the experience because I had never done anything like that before. I'm like not a trained actor, like have never acted a day in my life. And so for me it was fun to just get to go on these like casting calls and to see like the movies where people would be casted. Like I went to the Queen and Slim casting call,
Wow.
and it's so funny because Jodie Smith Turner, the lady that actually plays Queen,
Hmm.
helped me with my lines. And
That's crazy.
it was so fun. She was so nice. Like she was super sweet. And then when she got it, I was like, oh my God, like she's so deserving because she didn't have to help me. Like she did not have to help me. Like nobody, like those things are kind of competitive. So the fact that she was like, oh, I'll help you go over your lines because there was a side that I didn't even see. So I didn't, so it was a whole set of sides that I didn't get to go over. She's like, I'll help you. And so to see her on there, I was like, yeah, like I'm glad somebody that's super nice and sweet got it. Like
That's it. Now, how many auditions have you been on? Do you remember your first one? And was it nerve wracking for you? How was the process, the first audition?
first one, I honestly I had went on a handful of them. I couldn't even tell you what the first one was. I just remember that one because that was like, oh shit, like
Yeah,
um
memorable.
yeah, it was super memorable. I I think I had like I tried out for like Euphoria,
Okay.
and I knew I wasn't getting that. I just went in there. I
See,
was
you got to change your mindset when you're going in these and say, "I'm
no, no,
getting
no, no.
this."
I didn't even learn the lines. Like I really had just went.
Okay.
I was bullshit. Like I was just. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. Um, but yeah, nah, it's fun. It's fun. It is something that I want to do at some point. But I think I want to take it seriously. So I want to like actually take acting classes and improv classes and like do better at that. I don't want to just go into it and be like, oh, I'm a natural, because
Yeah.
like
But a fun fact, when you look up actors with no acting experience who made it. Your top actors in Hollywood right now never took any acting classes, and if you look that, it's insane.
Damn, maybe I need to just
Just go in there and wing it because that's what they did.
but I did take a an acting class or coaching acting coaching class from the lady that's that plays a mom on George Lopez.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I went to her house and she like helped me go over some lines and she was like she really good because first of all I thought that the way she was on George Lopez was like really how she is and
In real life.
she's not like that like at all and I was like oh you be acting like you be acting okay like all right so yeah.
When you look at your favorite actresses, actors, even roles on TV shows, movies, who's someone that you look up to towards in a particular role that you said that I would like to do a role like that? Is there an example that you would like to play that fits your personality?
uh I don't know. I don't be I don't, I've never thought about that. I could say who some of my like favorite actors are like Denzel Washington. I'm sorry, I just love him
He's
so much.
top.
I love him so much. Like
Training Day.
I just love him so much. I love like Steve Carell and like
Mm.
Will Ferrell. Like I love like funny stuff too. So I really love to laugh. So any like Amy Poehler, like Aubrey Plaza, um, I don't know, like I like what's his name? Carmichael. Is it Gerard Carmichael.
Gerard Carmichael.
I liked his show. The show that he had with who was that lady? I can't remember her name. But basically, but I like funny stuff. I like comedic stuff. Like I want to do stuff that's funny and fun. Like I don't know if I can do this the serious stuff. I don't know
Yeah,
if I can like burst into tears.
yeah, that's crazy.
Like I want to do fun stuff. So
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. Even a stand up, maybe you never know.
yeah,
Netflix
no,
special.
you know what's funny? People tell me all the time that I have good comedic timing and that I should do stand up. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, that seems so scary. And they're like, well, you're already on stage. You already like have a stage, have a mic. Like, what's the difference? And I'm like, because there's no music. So there's like you're really depending on like landing this joke, which I don't know. One day, maybe I'll do stand up. Maybe I'll do
Yeah.
stand up.
Well, you shared the same management as Childish Gambino, and he's Donald Glover, so he dips into the acting world. So maybe there's a connection there as well that it's meant to be.
Well, I don't share the same management as them. I actually have new management and
It's new management now.
I've had new management for years, like since
Okay.
2016. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's well, you still have that connection from the back. You know what I mean? So maybe there it'll cross paths eventually. That it'll actually because you had that connection with Childish Gambino and working with him.
Yeah.
It could be meant to be for sure. But low key superstar. Tell me about the message of that album and how you feel because I feel as though you're trying to say something there. Like I'm a superstar. I'm just low key.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like I don't know. People think that like being a superstar is about being like just super like loud and like you gotta have this, you gotta have that, you gotta show it off, you gotta be flashy, you gotta be this, and it's like yeah, I could, but like I'd rather be low key. Like when I go out, you're gonna know I'm a superstar, but if you don't see me out, you're not gonna see me.
Yeah.
Like I be low, like I be low as hell. So that's really all it's about. It's just about like when it goes back to that whole like internet thing of not feeling the pressure of like having to like prove myself on the internet by like constantly being in people's face 24/7 to remind them why they should give a fuck. It's like either you give a fuck or you don't. Like and I know who I am. Like I know who I am at the end of the day and I know I'm a superstar. So, you know.
You can see, especially the following that you built. I mean, they're cheering for you out in New York. That's all. That's all has to be said. Especially in New York, the tough crowd that they have, the Apollos and all that stuff.
I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
like, "You fuck with me the long way." Like, they fuck with me. So, yeah, it's just it's like I don't really care to do the thing. I'm like, I'm just here to make great art, great music that, connects with people, it makes them feel something, and that's really it. Like that's all I want to do.
What's been the most important, because you've been doing this for many years now, so what's been the most important moment throughout your time in the industry, whether it's traveling, doing the touring, meeting different people? What's been the most important moment of growth for you that you think has brought you to where you're at in the evolution of your career this far and ongoing?
Um, you mean like what part of all of it?
Yeah, out of everything so far throughout your journey, was an important moment for growth that has led you to this longevity?
Um, I think it's just being consistent with like the music,
Mhm.
being being committed to growing sonically, you know. I mean, touring has definitely helped me like reach new audiences. But I think just me being very, very committed to never making the same song twice has like kind of granted me the freedom to reach so many types of audiences. And so that's just something that like I think I'll always be doing. I think that's just innately how I am. Like you can go literally listen to my entire catalog and one song doesn't sound like the other.
No,
Like at all. Like,
no,
and I know that for a fact. Like you can go and try to find two songs that sound the same and it's not gonna work.
no.
And so I just think that like my commitment to growing sonically as an artist, um, yeah, that's been the thing that has been able to allow me to have longevity and just staying committed to like who I am and the messaging of being authentic. So
Mhm. Yeah, authenticity, I think, reigns supreme here for sure. With you, you can tell that you're an authentic artist. You see a lot of superficial people out there today. You're not one of them. Tell me about the upcoming album, because I know we're going to be dropping and airing the interviews for the release of the upcoming album. So tell me what we can expect from this. Any details that you can reveal, because I know there's some things that you can't reveal probably. So tell me anything that you can say today.
so wait, when is coming out?
This is coming out April, May, right around the release. I heard. Shout out to Sean.
Okay. So um it's called Real Bitches Don't Die.
Okay.
And it's just like it's really just it's a lot of things, okay? It's a lot of things. It is an homage to, growing up in the South, living in the South, and having, the Southern experience, whether it's me living in Little Rock, me living in Atlanta, me living in Houston, um, me spending time, me, visiting Memphis, which is not far from Little Rock, and just having like just having this Southern experience, right?
Mhm.
Southern rap music definitely informed me as a person and as an artist. And so this is my like love letter to Southern rap music. And it's also just like it's like a declaration of independence and a celebration of life because at the end of the day we have overcome so many things these past few years and just in life in general, and we're still here, we're still like persevering every single day. And yeah, it's like real bitches don't die. Like metaphorically, literally, whatever you want to like, we don't die because at the end of the day, if you're doing something that's real, it's authentic to you. And I know it's like, oh, real, what makes somebody a real whatever? It's like whatever is authentic to that person, that's theirs. That's what makes them real. It's like when you go outside of who you are or who you know yourself to be or like align or what you align with, that's when you're not being real, whether other people agree with it or not. And so for me, it's like um I just feel like what I've given to the world, what I've given to other people, it's never gonna die. Whether people want to acknowledge it or not, it's never gonna die.
No.
Like it's not gonna die because it lives through other people. Like the influence lives through other people, so it's not gonna die because that influence is gonna go to another person, which is gonna be influenced in another person, and it's just gonna forever be a thing. So Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's my best work yet. It
Oh,
is
that's big.
it's my best it's my best work, and it's executive produced by Felix.
Okay.
Um, he's also responsible for some work with Smino. He's worked with No Name, Saba, Raven Lene, so you might be familiar with him there. He's also an artist, amazing musician, producer, singer songwriter, and yeah, we met last year through a mutual friend named The Mind. He's an amazing songwriter, singer, artist, and we ended up falling in love in the process, me and Felix. And now this album is our baby.
Wow.
so so I'm really, really excited to put this out. And I'm not gonna name all the features, but one of the features is Big Crit.
Oh,
So
that's big.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's only going to be so much more to come, like surprises as far as this album. But as far as the rollout goes, what are you planning for the rollout of promotion and tour? Do you have a tour plan that you're currently working on?
So we're actually working on like touring stuff now. Like they're literally sending me like lists of people that ask me who I want to tour with. So we're getting all that stuff together. But yeah, the first single, which is the one that has Big Crit on it, is actually coming out in like what's the 22nd? Like 12, 13 days.
Yeah.
So in like 2 weeks that'll be out. And then we're gonna announce the album after that. So
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to it for sure because it's something that makes you unique. Like you said before, is that you're not going to get the same song with me different all the time. You're not. Primary is not going to sound like low key superstar. It's always going to be something different.
this is it.
Yeah.
Like this is it. This is it. And so I'm excited to like, let people hear because I've been super tapped out of like everything. I had like before we like finished the mixes, I wasn't listening to anything that was new, anything that was coming out. So like almost from like I would say from May, I wasn't listening to any new music. So I listened to I listened to the Beyonce album like
The
months.
house album that just
Yeah,
really
I
she won the
listened
Grammy
to
for.
it months after like I had been seeing everybody talking like, oh man, I wish I could listen to this Beyonce, but I didn't wanna like be like subconsciously influenced by what she was doing. I didn't want to like hear what she was doing, but oh maybe I need, you know what I mean? I'm very like I need to just tap out and just tune in to what's happening to me so I can give like, like the most authentic version of myself. So yeah, I'm excited.
I, I am too. I'm looking forward to this. You've achieved so much already, so I think this album, if you feel it in your heart, this album's gonna be huge.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. My management team, like one of my managers, she literally knows all the words to the like she's like, this is amazing. Like, I'm like every day. But like she has that energy about it every single day. And that's the thing that like makes me excited. It's like that the people around me are like genuinely excited about the music every single day. And so even when I be having my moments where I'm like having doubts, they're like, no, no. They're like, no. And so it just feels good to have like, that support system around me that's like cheering me on, and it's gonna go the links to make sure that this album gets all the things that it deserves. So
This is gonna be name wise, may not content wise, but like Lil Kim's hardcore, Foxy Brown's Il Nana. It's gonna be that type.
I don't know, don't put me up there with them. Don't put God, man. Just put it up there with Real Bitches Don't Die, Kari Faux. That's
Oh, that's fire. Yeah, we keep that up.
that's the bar.
Real bitches don't die.
They too goaded. They too goaded. I ain't I ain't that goaded chick.
No, but I expect great things with this, especially what you're saying. I think this is going to be monumental in the Grammys. BET Awards. I think all this is going to come. It's going to happen.
Yeah, you know, anything can happen. Anything is. I'm just like I'm just gonna sit here and I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait. But I know in my heart I'm like this for me this music is about reaching the people it's supposed to reach. It's like I'm not really trying to cast a wide ass net. It's like I'm not trying to be like, oh, I gotta reach people from the age of 5 to the age of 65. And it's like, no, it's like if it's for you, you're gonna hear it and it's gonna be for you. And so yeah, I think it's gonna be a big deal.
It definitely is. We're going to will it into existence here. But Kari Faux, is there anything else you want to let your fans know, the people who are all following you on the social media accounts know? What else you want to say today to conclude the show?
I don't know, just know that, like, I don't know, just be yourself, be authentic, whatever that looks like. Whether people get it, they don't get it, they're accepting of you, whatever, you will find your tribe. You will find people that respect you, even if they are different from you. Yeah, and if you have a dream, go after it. Don't wait. Like, don't be like, oh, I'm gonna do it next year when I got the, like, just do it. Just start planting the seeds every single day. And trust that the universe will, open doors for you. um Real bitches don't die. Coming soon. It's fuck from Kari Faux. That's all I got. That's all I
Yeah.
got.
Kari Faux, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you to your management and Sean at Cosign for setting this up. And I'm looking forward to the album. I'm going to be putting it in my rotation, promoting it for you. I look forward to hearing it. You're always welcome on the show anytime. And thank you for all that you do and putting on for Arkansas and just staying true to yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much for, giving a very thorough and amazing interview.
I,
I really don't come across a lot of these. So thank you so much for, doing the work.
I appreciate that. It means a lot. And until the next time, the billboards will be there. All the accolades will be there.
Period. Yes.
Yes. All right. Take care. Stay safe.
All right, you too.
All right, Kari. Take care.